Good afternoon from London. It's a bright but cold afternoon here in London, and it's been a busy day. Hello to all dear comrades, friends and supporters from Dr. Dermot Hudson, the chairman of the British Group for the Study of the Juche idea, chairman of the Korean Friendship Association of the UK, an official delegate of the KFA for the UK, president of the Association for the Study of Songun Politics, and also owner of this channel, Songun 007, the voice of Songun and Juche in the UK. And today you're going to get a double bill, yes, double bubble, because I'll be doing two videos today. And my first one is on the subject of why People's Korea is right to reject imperialist aid. And, about 2 years ago, I made a video on a broadly similar subject about why the DPRK should not reform and open up. And I'll be putting a link to that video as a reference to this one in the description. Anyway, so the mainstream media of the imperialist Western countries, capitalist countries, have been carrying screaming headlines such as, and I quote, "North Korean state media urges rejection of poisoned candy foreign aid despite food shortages," unquote. For sake of clarity, and indeed accuracy, it needs to be pointed out that the DPRK's media actually did not use the term poisoned candy, nor is there a looming food crisis, quote unquote. And, again, just breaking off here a bit from my prepared talk, there's been a number of false stories in the mainstream media about food shortages, food crises, and even saying, the famine in the DPRK. And the fact is, over the last few years, I think about 3 or 4 times, maybe 5 times, the imperialist mainstream media have said, there's going to be a famine in the DPRK and everyone will die. And, if you believe the imperialist media, by now there would be no one living in the DPRK because they would have all starved to death about 3 or 4 times by now if you'd believe them. And, just on another point, there was a false allegation about prices going up in the DPRK. Well, it is a planned economy. There is a state planning commission. There is a state price commission which control prices. And anyway, food is distributed to people in the DPRK at a very low cost. I believe the cost of rice in the DPRK just about only covers the cost of transporting it. Anyway, that's perhaps beside the main direction of this talk. What the DPRK did say in an article in Ruden Simon on Wednesday, 22nd of February, and which was carried in the English language edition of KCNA, they said as follows, and I quote, "Without self-support in the economy, it is impossible to realise independence in politics and defend the right to existence and development of each country and nation." End of quotation. Further, it pointed out that, and I quote, "the economic development based on others things, and help may bring about temporary growth or splendid change, but it is hard to expect the sustained and planned development from it. And the article concluded with the words, and I quote, "Just as the Juche idea is our lifeblood, the independent national economy is our eternal life." End of quotation. This is indeed true. Although the term was not actually used, foreign aid is indeed poisoned candy or poisoned chalice. Aid from imperialist countries, first of all, leads to dependence and to a country becoming a colony again. Moreover, for every dollar that the imperialists give in aid, they take away $10 or $100 in profits. And also, the imperialists will use that aid as a means to undermine and destroy socialism from within. Any socialist country taking aid from imperialism will taste a bitter end, basically. South Korea is a typical example of a dependent country. There are literally dozens and dozens of US and other foreign multinational companies from countries like Japan, Britain, Germany, France, Italy, and so on, dominating the South Korean economy. And South Korea owes an astounding $639 billion in debt. Now, the mainstream media never tell you these facts and hide it from you. I'm sure, that must be the highest amount of debt in the world, rather than being a miracle economy or high growth economy, as the imperialists advertise. The South Korean economy is a disaster. The great leader, President Kim Il-sung, said, and I quote, "It is not true that we cannot live without foreign aid. We can not only live as well as we wish, even without aid, but also build socialism splendidly, and must certainly do so." Later, he said, building an independent national economy would deal, and I quote, "a heavier blow to the imperialists and thoroughly smash the absurd arguments of those who claim that socialism cannot be built without outside assistance." End of quotation. Socialism in the DPRK has been built splendidly. In the DPRK, between 1946 and 1984, industrial output value increased by 431 times. In the same period, per capita national income increased by 65 times. Grain production increased by 5.3 times. During the period of the Cholima upsurge, Cholima being a mythical and legendary flying horse which can cover a great distance in a day, in the late 1950s, industrial output growth hit 40% in 1 year, an even higher rate than the old USSR achieved under the leadership of J.V. Stalin. Whole new streets, which are in effect the size of small towns, such as Changjong Street, Mirai Scientist Street, Rumyong Street and Songun Street, have been constructed within the last few years. The DPRK defeated COVID-19 in record time, 90 days, without imperialist aid. The DPRK closed its borders 3 years ago and has survived when some countries would not last 3 days with their borders closed. People's Korea is absolutely right to reject imperialist aid. The imperialists can go and stuff their aid. Juche and self-reliance rule. Okay. Long live People's Korea. Long live Juche. Long live the Great Workers' Party of Korea. Long live Marshal Kim Jong-un. Thank you for listening to that video. There'll be another one soon. If you're not already a subscriber to this channel, Songun 007, please consider subscribing, and to our affiliated channel, Korean Friendship Association of the UK. And we have a publishing program. There's a number of books written by myself, a few written by other people in KFA UK and the British Group for the Study of the Juche idea. The link to the author spotlight on lulu.com will be in the description of this video. And above all, we need your support at our events, and I will be doing a short video on that in a minute. So, see you all again soon, and have a great day. Goodbye.